What if you could live the life of your dreams now, instead of having to wait for that future date when you finally have a thriving business and be able to go on vacations and relax whenever you want to and have adoring fans who just love everything you create? What if you could live your ideal life now and not in the future? So let's talk about this in this video, because I want you to live heaven on earth in your life today instead of having to wait for the future. Okay, so here's the reality. All of us have to work, right? You can't escape work if you want to build a sustainable business and hopefully a thriving one. If you already have all the money you need, then at least you want to work because it gives you a sense of fulfillment and growth. So all of us have to work. None of us can escape work. Now, so we usually think, okay, let me do my work so that in the future, or maybe even just this weekend, I can relax and have a sense of joy and finally do the things that I enjoy doing. Maybe you love to go gardening or go hiking or go to the beach or spend time playing some game with a loved one or whatever it may be. Oh, that is your sense of when you have great joy, when you feel like life is meaningful. But let's come back to that original idea. None of us can escape work. But the problem is, for our whole lives, we have practiced working in a way that doesn't bring heaven to earth. You know what I mean? So all of us have grown up with the idea of working hard. So what that means is to bring the experience of inner struggle into our work. So you're working with a tense face or with tense neck and shoulders, and you're supposed to just get it done as fast as possible. So in other words, your whole life, maybe not you, but most of us, have been taught to practice delaying gratification. And that moment or those hours we're working, we're supposed to just get it over with as fast as possible so that we can do the things we love. So you might say, well, George, I'm trying to build a business doing the things I love. I'm trying to build a business helping people, healing, transforming other people. But still, you can't escape the work of marketing yourself and your business. You can't escape the work of bookkeeping or other boring tasks or frustrating tasks, like learning how to do Facebook ads. Oh, George, it's so frustrating. You know, I can't figure out what to click and where. And you still can't escape all the admin, marketing, operations work that leads you into the work that you love, which is spending time with that client, helping him or her to transform, to heal, to spend time teaching, speaking, writing, whatever it is that you think is truly meaningful work. But what if you did transform all of that journey into a heavenly experience? That's what I want you to reflect on starting today, rest of the week, hopefully forever. The moment you are doing the so-called administrative task or the so-called difficult marketing or technology or whatever it is that's supposed to bring you to the work you love, that moment is a moment of practice. Practicing what? Practicing whether you are working hard, what we've grown up learning to work with: anxiety, boredom, frustration, confusion, anything that's not doing the thing that is our maybe our core strength of healing, transformation, anything before that, the marketing and the administration. Whether you practice anxiety, boredom, frustration during those moments, or you practice what I call tapping into the spark. You can call it anything you want. Some people call it reconnecting with God. Some people call it connecting with their source. Some people call it mindfulness. Other people call it a state of prayerfulness. Some people call it doing work from the heart. Yes, doing work from the heart can be when you're doing your taxes, when you're doing the most boring administrative work, when you're learning the most difficult tech, Facebook ads, whatever it is you're learning that's difficult, spreadsheets. I say that with a smile, right? Why does that work have to be get it done as fast as possible? Why do we have to spend our whole lives doing boring, frustrating work? Now, typically people ask you that question so they can sell you some automation tool. Why do you have to spend time doing that? Let's let our software automate it for you. But of course, even programming the software to you will be boring or frustrating or confusing or whatever. See, whatever we do to get to the state of, oh, I'm doing my work, everything's great and everything's so fun and fulfilling, that all that work leading up to that point is still the work that you have to do. So why not practice tapping into your inner spark? Because the quality of your life depends on the quality of your being in every moment of your life. And the quality of your being depends on the quality of your practice in every moment of your life. So today I want to ask you, what are you practicing? Yes, right now you're watching this video, but after this, what are you going to go do? And later, a couple hours from now, what will you be doing? And will you be just trying to get it done? Or will you be seeing that very moment as a moment of practice? Practice what? Practice tapping into your spark. Now, we have different ways of doing it, each of us. If you have a way of tapping into your spark, I'd love for you to comment below and share with us what that is. For me, I have what I call the Energy Reboot. For years, I'll tell you what I did. For years, my Energy Reboot was to hold my hands to my heart, breathe in love, breathe out total security. And by the way, I know some people like to breathe in good stuff, breathe out bad stuff. Personally, I don't like to consider bad stuff at all. I don't find it helpful. I have created a life that's heavenly, and it's because I've focused on the good stuff and it expands. So anyway, but everyone has their own technique. Things might work really well for you to breathe out the bad stuff. It's totally up to you. So, but what works for me is to, whenever I breathe, both in and out is good stuff, just to remind myself and feeling good. Breathing in and breathing out both feel good. In fact, breathing out feels even better than breathing in. So I'm like, well, why not think about good stuff when I'm feeling good, right? So anyway, for years, it's been the Energy Reboot, which you can Google literally Energy Reboot in my articles near the top. These days, for the past couple months, I've been practicing a different one that I want to share with you. And it's very simple. It takes only 30 seconds. And it's basically every 15 to 20 minutes during my working day, I do the following. Yes, let me say that again. Every 15 to 20 minutes during my working day, I do the following for 30 seconds. I take my hands off the keyboard and I drop them to my side, relaxing my shoulders and my neck. And while I'm doing that, I'm doing some deep breathing. And while I'm doing the deep breathing, I have some thoughts going on. The thought is, thank you, God, for having brought me to this very moment. All the creativity you've brought me through, all the challenges you've brought me through. I know you will always bring me through and I want to thank you and trust you for all the creativity that you're going to bring me through the rest of today. All the challenges you're going to bring me through, everything. I can trust you. And then I breathe in love while I stretch my arms to the top. And then I look out into the distance and I say eternal joy and eternal security. And then as I drop my arms back down, stretching, I say wisdom is welcome here. And I give thanks, bringing that love and wisdom into my next task. So that's basically what I do. 30 seconds every 15 to 20 minutes during my working day. Yes, I really don't think it's enough to just meditate in the morning or just to meditate in the evening. In fact, I'll tell you, again, everybody has their own spiritual path. Everybody's spiritual practice is different. Here's what works for me. For a couple years, I tried practicing meditation. I worked up to being able to meditate for half an hour, still silent, all that stuff. and I went on a 7-day silent Vipassana meditation retreat. None of that really worked for me. I mean, it was an interesting experience. I know it worked for some of my friends. I don't know if they're still doing it, but here's what works for me and has worked for years, okay? And has created a life of a thriving business and a heavenly life for me. It's to check in way more often than the morning or evening meditation. I think those are, again, if it helps you, great bookends. But what's much more important, I don't do meditation anymore. I don't meditate at all anymore, except every 15 to 20 minutes. And sometimes even 5 to 10 minutes. Anytime I sense tenseness, anytime I feel tense, okay, which means I've become very aware of my body state throughout the entire day. Anytime I feel tense at all, I drop my arms for 30, I do that same thing that I've just told you for 30 seconds. Both the relaxing, the stretching, but also the breathing and the intention setting, the reminders of what is true with a capital T. So I think that's way more practical meditation than just meditating for 7 days in a silent meditation retreat. Again, some people really get great enlightenment experiences, fine, but I'm wondering what happens in their day-to-day. Are they actually transformed in the day-to-day work? Or do they still feel like, oh, I can only connect with God, with nature, with source, with spirit. I can only connect with that in meditation, or when I'm in my garden, or when I'm hiking, or when I'm with a loved one, or when I'm listening to music, or when I'm fill in the blank. I connect with God every 15 minutes when I'm doing my spreadsheets, when I'm doing bookkeeping, when I'm doing my marketing, when I'm doing Facebook ads, when I'm writing my articles, when I'm trying to figure out sales page copy. That's when I connect to God. That's when I have an experience of deep spiritual connection. Why are you waiting until morning or night or weekend or retreat or whatever to connect with God? It should be every second you connect with God, right? Every second, of course, it's hard because then we can't get anything done until we get to that state of complete connection. But all of us starts every 15 to 20 minutes, you got to connect with God. I actually read about someone who had an experiment. It was, I can't remember now, but that person was literally making an experiment to connect with God every minute of every day. Like literally to stop every minute, go for 2 seconds, connect with God. Okay, I think that's a little bit too much interruption every minute, right? But every 15 to 20 minutes is not too much because you're probably already tensed up in 15 to 20 minutes. You're probably already forgotten that you're taken care of deeply every 15 to 20 minutes, especially if your business is not thriving yet. You're scared, I understand. Or you're wondering, you're anxious, you're wondering if it's going to work. You're in self-doubt, whatever it may be. That's why we need to practice connecting every 15 to 20 minutes for 30 seconds, 20 seconds, 10 seconds, whatever is easy for you. So easy to do that I can do that 10 seconds every 15 to 20 minutes. Now it's, of course, that your job is to be aware of the clock, to be able to connect oh yes, have I connected in the last, now I know 15 to 20 minutes is probably pretty difficult for a lot of you to do. So why not let's start with every hour. Every hour, it's pretty easy. It's like, oh, did I do this during this hour yet? If not, let me do it right now. Well, if you're doing it once an hour, maybe you need to do 2 or 3 minutes, right? To really get into more of a state of being that you want. But I bet during that hour, you're going to be tense again. You're going to be anxious. You're going to be out of your heart, which is why I think every 15 to 20 minutes. But if you can do every hour, first start with that. Can make a commitment to that. Now, it doesn't have to be perfect. We're not here to beat anybody up, especially ourselves, right? So if hours go by, you forgot to connect, just like, oh, interesting, forgot to connect. Well, I'm grateful for the reminder to connect. In fact, actually, that's the first thing I say when I drop my arms is I thank you, God, for reminding me, for the grace of reminding me to connect again, to give thanks again, and to bring trust again, right? To get into trust again. So you might take you a few hours and then oh my God, I didn't connect the whole day. It's okay. And then every time you remind yourself and give thanks, oh yeah, thanks for a reminder, then it becomes more frequent for you. And then hopefully you could do it every half hour. And if you could do it every half hour, once you get that down, then you could do it every 20 minutes or every 15 minutes. I have made it into a habit to observe when I get tense, when I get out of my deep breaths and my heart, and I reconnect for 30 seconds again. Because I think the state of our being is our top priority today. So whatever you're facing today at work or in your life, you can reconnect as often as you can to remember what this is all about. To me, what does it mean to you? What is this life all about to you? To me, this is a giant virtual simulation. It's basically a giant video game we're here to play. Our actual souls are still connected to source, and we're just here. Have you seen the movie Avatar? I actually literally believe this reality is literally like the movie Avatar. So we're still actually, our spirits are still at God, with source, but we're just kind of projected in here for the time being, for 80 years, 120 years, however many years. And every night we go back, just to check in, and we don't remember that, but every night we go back. Or maybe even every second we're still there, but our consciousness, limited ego consciousness, is here right now, being projected in this avatar, this flesh suit, this avatar, more like a drone. I want to thank Andy Freeland for that kind of analogy. He mentioned that in one of the comments, and I totally agree. I'm like, yeah, that's it. That's what I. So we're living in the Matrix, and this is a game. It's a simulation. It feels real, but it's, once you get to the other side, you realize it's even more real than over there than it is over here. And so this is a game. And so you're here to bring as much love, wisdom as possible to this game. And I know a lot of us have different challenges, for sure, but there's something about up-leveling your presence in this game and creating your reality here. And to be honest, I have gratefully been able to do that in the past 10 years, creating my reality. And it's like, my life feels palpably, completely different than it was 10 years ago. A lot of practice, but I think if I can do it, you can do it as well in your own way. Whatever your dream is to you, whatever heaven means to you. So I hope this is helpful. I wish you well. Thank you for joining me for this live video. Mina, Rianne, Tamala, Iwona, Jennifer, Ida. Thanks for your comments here, Ida. All right. I wish you well. I'm George Kao, Authentic Business Coach. I love talking about building business from a deep, true place of heart. I wish you well. Take care.